Have you ever been staring at a wall and things just start to solidify? Shapes become congruent and you see it. A face, a creature, some unseen incorporeal pattern that's always been there, just waiting for someone to discover it. I'm sure you have, at least most of us have. Now, we can't be sure why this innate ability was burned into our genetic psyche, but I think I figured it out. Oh, God, I think I figured it out. It started off small. I noticed what looked like a rodent of some sort on the bathroom wall in front of the toilet. Obviously nothing that anyone had ever seen before, but I thought it was kind of cute. A little weird, but cute. So, marking where I had noticed it, I went out to the living room and grabbed my sketch pad. Heading back to the bathroom, I started to sketch out what I had seen. It was an almost cathartic feeling. I always thought it would be fun to sketch out some of the random things I've seen in the arbitrary patterns on the walls and floors. So, finally doing it felt good. There was one strange thing, though. You know how looking away from one of these visions makes it almost impossible to find the exact pattern when you look back up at it? Well, as soon as I put ink to paper, it was like no matter how long I looked away, when I looked back up, it was like the creature had been outlined in an almost glowing black line, and every line I put on my sketch pad erased a bit of it. Like it was transferring from the wall to my paper, but still I persisted. After a few minutes, there it was. A new frame that has never seen the light of our world on its own, not lost in some random pattern on a bathroom wall. I was starting to feel a bit of pride for what I had done. I brought the pad back to the living room, set it back on the coffee table, and went to the kitchen to grab a drink, my mouth having felt strangely dry since this whole thing started. After downing a glass of water, I went back to marvel at my creation. But there my sketch pad sat on the coffee table, not a pen stroke left on the page. I was so confused at first that I didn't even notice it clambering up the wall to the open window. My creation. It was like a black void. A three-dimensional nothingness with legs skittering towards the outside world. And upon reaching the windowsill, it stopped. Looking back at me, it gave a deliberate nod and jumped, escaping into the night. Collapsing to the floor, my mind racing, what had just happened? That couldn't possibly have been real, right? I couldn't blink. I hadn't the willpower to move. Deep down in my core, I was feeling something. A primal fear for what I've done. My lizard brain screaming that that thing should not have been let out. Yes. Let out. That's what this is. Pareidolia. Things, beings calling to us from the void. Beckoning us to loose them on our plane of existence. I didn't draw it. I made it a perfect door. A door only it could use, but it was crude. Just an outline so only its frame made it through. That explains its appearance of nothingness. At this revelation, I noticed my mouth was unbearably dry again, my head throbbing with pain. Water. I needed water. Heading back to the kitchen, my mind on fire, I noticed it. The glowing black outline on the wall. I could feel it calling out to me. I just felt like I needed to draw it. Trace it on the very wall I discovered it on. I ran to get my pen set. I don't know, it was just so out of place. I've seen faces, animals, things before, but nothing this big. Nothing this strange. It took up half the wall, limbs disjointed sickle-like claws, unhinged jaws that looked as though they could engulf a man whole. Just so otherworldly. I had to draw it. On the very wall I noticed it. I began feverishly giving this horror a rigid silhouette. I knew it was wrong. What I was doing was wrong, but my hands, my body was moving on its own at this point. Once the outline was finished, then came the details. Things I hadn't noticed before but began to become apparent. Tendons and muscles, skeletal features visible through its obsidian skin. The horrid shine on its row after row of dagger-like teeth. Its white, gleaming eyes that look in no direction but see everything at once. Its body was an affront to the natural world. Its very existence scars our reality and warps my mind. The horror that I have just given life to, that I pulled from the void and without thought shepherded into our reality. It's free now. I can hear the screams already.
Run,